Hey, Shalom Markings, Rakam Kapash from Jim London, giving all praises, honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful, spiritually truthful, and sincerity. Back again with another video. It's got a couple of articles, man. Uh, you know, uh, dealing with the judgments of the Lord that's going on in the earth right now. And one's here in Spain, and the other is in Italy, man. And they're dealing with opposite things, right? Here, Spain dealing with a drought, and you got Italy dealing with floodings, you know. And these articles are a few days old, or Spain might be older. I had a backlog of articles I wanted to go through. Um, and it's just funny, man, because they could deal with uh, some of what the others got. These men need some sun to dry out the water, right? And Spain needs some water to to wet the land up, man. But yeah, the most part is funny, man, and Cater made judgment to all these nations, man. All right, so yeah, just a quick one. I'm gonna read some of this and get some scriptures, right? So it's from France 24. It says the country is becoming a desert. Drought struck Spain is running out of water. All right, and this will lead into other things as well because it mentions a couple of things in here, right? So Spain is running out of water after a long and painful drought. The country has been hit by an unusually early heat wave, evaporating even more of the blue gold it still has left in its reservoirs. While farmers fear for their survival, environmentalists say it is time for Europe's back garden to rethink how it uses and manages its increasingly scarce water supply. The Most High is creating scarcity upon the earth in all things, right? And it's just a matter of time that these governments are going to take control of this, like proper hold on it, and start rationing all these things, right? And it all plays, hand in hand with the MOTB and the CBDCs, okay, the programmable money, and the CHIP, right? It all plays hand in hand in that, man. The situation is being made to happen, right? And Esau's, making full opportunity of these things, and developing, uh, you know, uh, the plans needed to put in place to accomplish that. All right, so Spain dealing with a water issue, and they need to figure out ways to manage it, right? To manage the scarce supply of water. Well, they already got that on deck. They know what they want to do, right? Because they're going to manage everything, all resources, and that's what the WEF is all about. Trying to convince you that you be better off with not owning anything, right? Just have it on rent, right? You pay your credits and you get your allocated amount that you need or whatever that they say you need, you know. So there's an expression in Spain. Okay, so April will bring the rains. Only this year it didn't, because the Most High is in control. People take things for granted, right? The month of April was the driest month on the record, and several Spanish cities registered their highest April temperatures yet. In Cordoba, the mercury rose to 3.87 Celsius, almost 102 Fahrenheit at one point, and in the province of Seville in Andalusia, 37.8. Since coming on the heels of a long-term drought and an unusually warm and dry winter, the latest heat wave has sparked a real fear of shortages. All right, let's see. Let me read this part here. It says both regions impose water restrictions. Okay, and it's not the first time. Okay, but it's not going to be the last time either, right? Even here in the UK, there was that might have been last year actually. During the summer, I think it was maybe they was putting restrictions on certain parts of the country and the use of water. It's like everywhere's having issues with that because the Lord is messing up your weather patterns, what you're expecting, and you know causing droughts where usually you got enough water, and causing floods where usually we ain't worried about floods. You know, the Most High is crippling economies and land and all this kind of stuff just by changing your weather patterns and stuff like that, and sending more rain or sending more sun. It's easy work, right? This is both regions are both regions imposed water restrictions at the end of February, meaning inhabitants were no longer allowed to water their gardens or fill their swimming pools. Farmers were also asked to reduce irrigation. So the farmers, can't produce as much, because they're not allowed to water as much, man. Says So the Andalusian village of Jaén even went so far as to organize El Abuelo, I assume you pronounce that, procession to beg for rain on May 1st, bringing out their Christ bringing out their Christ statue to reinforce their prayers. I'll give them this, man. It's more than what these other nations do, man. when shit ain't going right, when disasters happen, usually hurricanes or whatever, man, the men ain't trying to turn to their idols to pray and beg for this and that. No national thing happens, man. It should be a national thing, right? You got these gods that you believe in, and you need something to happen, and you better start praying to your gods, right? Or at least they're down for that. But they put their trust and faith in idols that have no breath, man. So these things are not going to deliver you, right? They ain't going to bring rain because you asked your idol to. Because Jesus Christ is just an idol, right? Jesus Christ is not the Son of God, right? That the Son of God is his name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, in the scriptures, right? So your idol's not going to do anything, right? If somehow you get some rain and you ain't suffering as bad, it's the Most High that did that. Okay, not your idol. Okay, the Most High allowed that for you to be watered. Okay. Anyway, says bringing out their Christ statue to reinforce their prayers. It was the first time the statue had been brought out of the church basement since 1949. Right, they're going in. They've had to bring out the basement. They try to turn godly, man. There's a video of it, whatever. I can watch that. So, and the rest of Spain is not out of danger. The state of the reservoirs is increasingly worrisome in the regions of Valencia, Murcia, Castilla-La Mancha, and Extremadura. The available water stock has gone below 40% of total capacity. Says Sir Saka, an agroclimatology specialist, describes Spain as being in a mega drought situation, bearing the brunt of the effects of the drought in the summer of 2022 and then the dry winter that followed. The current state of the soil and water reserves generally corresponds to that which we usually see in August. This is totally unprecedented. That word has been thrown around a lot recently. Things of unprecedented measures and scales is happening because we're in the time of the end. Okay, and great chaos, great peril is to come upon the earth. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen. So it shouldn't be unexpected. It shouldn't be unexpected because it's here written in the scriptures. All right, Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. Right, so this world is going to plunge into darkness, man. Okay, we're going to be in some troubled times, like majorly. So things are meant to get worse. There's meant to be real problems happening, and they are. Okay, and these problems are only going to get bigger, man, and worse. All right, you're lucky you got water right now at all. All right, but the next part says Europe's back garden in peril. Spain is known as Europe's back garden because it exports a large part of its agricultural production, and Spanish farmers are unsurprisingly among the first to suffer the consequences of a water shortage. All right, so Spain produce a lot of things that these other European nations buy. Okay, so that's going to have a knock-on effect for the rest of Europe, right? Asphyxiated. says according to COAG, which coordinates farming and ranching groups and is one of the country's main farming unions, 60% of Spain's non-irrigated cereal crops have asphyxiated due to lack of rain. Again, I'm going to assume that means stopped or something like that, choked. So I think asphyxiate means, right? So let's have a look quickly and find out. Kill. It's been killed off. Oh, okay. Kill someone by depriving them of air. Okay, so choked. Yeah, choked to death, suffocated. All right. So it's been choked off, man. It's been killed off. All right. So 60% of the cereal crops or non-irrigated cereal crops have been cut off, killed off due to lack of rain. So these cereals planted in the fall and harvested in the spring, like wheat and barley, Zaka explained. But because of the lack of water, the development was interrupted before they could reach maturity, and so it won't be possible to harvest them. The cultivation of olive, pistachio, and almond trees is also likely to decline, he said, because even these plants are used to dry climates, and they are suffering from the hotter than normal temperatures. You know, and one bar would be upset about the pistachios. All right, it says so delaying planting certain crops offers farmers one option of combating the drought, but it comes at inherent risks. As for fruit and vegetables, for those grown on smaller farms that don't irrigate, farmers try to postpone their sowing periods for as long as possible, waiting for better conditions. But the more the time passes, the more they risk missing the season altogether. So yeah, it don't look good for food production because of the water situation, right? And like I said, it could affect the rest of Europe. It says the huge irrigation crop fields in southern Spain might not be as hard hit, but with the lack of water and the restrictions that have been put in place, the farmers running them will have to lower their returns, he added. And these guys are probably struggling already, financially. In short, only crops that grow close to the coastline and watered with water from desalination plants are expected to make it through this dry spell. Right? That's all I'm going to read on it. But you get the idea. Right? So, yeah, Spain, things ain't looking too good in Spain or the rest of Europe for that matter. For what's going down that there, man. All right, so let me just grab some of these. Should start with Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 11 says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand." Yeah, and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right, this world, beginning with America, but this whole world, Esau's kingdom, is being judged, right? And the Lord is bringing plagues and pestilences on the earth, right, to bring this kingdom down to its knees, right, to create this time of trouble that we read in Daniel 12, to come to pass. All right. So the Lord is smiting with the places with the plagues of Egypt, right? So then Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, right? So the farmers haven't been doing but nothing but complaining these last few years. You know what I mean? Because things are just getting worse and worse for them. Things are getting harder and harder for them, man. Things are more costly. They're not able to produce what they want to produce. For one reason or another. Flooding, drought. Barns burning down. Facilities burning down or whatever. Whatever the case may be. Pestilence. You got to kill the cows and all that kind of stuff that was going on. The chickens and all that during the the CV period. They can't catch a break. The Lord is messing with all of that, all the agriculture, right? Today that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. So they man are trying to delay the plant, delay the plantings and stuff, so they can, get around certain, weather anomalies. But like I said, they might miss the window completely, and it just won't grow anyway. And they can't harvest it. So they're trying their best, but ain't nothing seems to be really working, right? Because they ain't meant to work. Okay? It's Haggai chapter 1, verse 11 says, and I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, right? And this just, I'm bringing this out just because it also shows, man, brothers have been, beginning of our elders and apostles, have been putting up curses on this place for, years now, right? And, these things, they're happening in earth, man. The curses that we send up, man, they take place, And so, we got nothing to really be down about. Everything that we want, life might not be ideal, obviously, because this is hell and we're in captivity, right? The things that we're looking for ultimately are coming to pass, man. So we're always heading in the right direction, always progressing, always moving towards the end point, the goal, right? We're watching this system, this kingdom fall down around us, man. And that just tells you that our salvation is nearer than we believed, right? It's coming. Our salvation is near, right? So then I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands, right? And this is what the Lord does, man. This is what the Lord does to the inhabitants of earth, man, when he judges them. Okay? He's able to do this, man. And got these guys, upset, holding their hands in their heads and shit. Well, head in their hands, rather. Right? This is Isaiah 19:4. Says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, right? And that's going to be Yahushai, okay, when he comes. Because the Lord is going to be a cruel Lord, especially at the beginning, right? He's coming with a rod of iron, man. What do you think you're going to do with that? He tells you what you're going to do with that, to smash them pieces, right? So yeah, the Lord Yahushai is coming as a cruel Lord, right? And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts, saith the Lord of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. Right? So again, this is what the Lord does, man. The Lord can do all this, man. And like I said, you got some sort of merit. You trying to turn to your gods to get your water back. Send some rain. But like I said, you deal with idols and that. So that don't mean shit. I say if you do get water, it's the Most High that sent it. Okay, it ain't gonna be your God that sent it. Your statue of the Christ that was in the basement for fucking 60 or 70 years. You know what I'm saying? Collected dust, that dusty old idol. Right? Yeah, he ain't coming to help you, man. Right? It says, and the water shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence shall be emptied up and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away. What they were mentioned about only the things by the coastline are expected to grow, from desalination plants or whatever, right? Only those are expected to grow, right? It's like, it's kind of similar thing here, right? But even these waters are going to dry up and recede and whatever, right? Shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishes also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament. Even the fishermen, they ain't gonna be able to fish. And they shall spread the nets upon the waters, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, they that weave networks, shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. Right? So it's going to affect everything, man. These droughts and the floods and all these types of things. All right. Okay. Let's grab the other article quickly. This one won't take long. This is from The Guardian. All right. This is just like a post, right? So this is what's going on in Italy, right? It says Italy's worst flooding for 100 years. Well, Whatever, man. I can zoom in. Okay. So it's a little picture of the floods in Italy right now. All right. So they're saying it's the worst in 100 years, man. You know. So it says devastating floods in Emilia Romagna region in Italy have left several dead and thousands homeless after torrential rains triggered landslides and caused rivers to burst their banks. My son bursting banks out here, man. You know, and then there's fatalities in this one. All right, but I say the Lord got one place getting dried up and the other one getting saturated, inundated with water. You know, Spain should be like, can we get some of that, man? They should transport the water. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on in Italy right now. So Ephesians Psalm chapter 5 verse 21 says, "Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds as well as from a well-drawn bow shall they fly to the mark. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and evil dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty." Right, so the Lord gonna send these local floodings and stuff like that. Because even though the Lord said He'll never flood the earth again, that doesn't the Lord said He'll never flood the earth again. Right, the Lord never said about no local flooding, bursting banks and stuff to mess people's lives up. The Lord never mentioned that, right? But the Lord never gonna flood the earth again, right? So the second judgment that's coming isn't gonna be by water, but by fire, right? So yeah, the Lord got many ways to destroy people, man. So don't think you're safe. The Lord got a whole bag of tricks, right? A whole arsenal of things He could use and do. He's very creative, right? So yeah, the Lord sending flooding in that region, man. All right, and I'm gonna close it up with this: Sirach 40 verse 10. Let me roll up a bit. Verse 9 says, "Death and bloodshed, strife and sore calamities." These are all calamities, man. Disasters, emergencies, right? Famine, tribulation, and the droughts going to cause famines. Even flooding causes famines, man. Because if you got flooding in an area where you grow crops and stuff like that, guess what? The same thing happens. They can't be used. So that affects the food chain, right? Famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Like I said, the Lord flooded out the whole earth to kill, all the inhabitants of the earth, right? And so these are still methods that the Most High used today to flood people out and destroy people and destroy houses and lands and whatever, man. Just not on the same sort of scale. But these are methods the Most High uses to destroy people, man. All right, so the Lord, like I said, is bringing judgments again, just like He brought judgments, to the Egyptians, man. But this is a global thing that's going to be happening, and as part of the reason why, the second judgment by fire, the second judgment of the Lord is going to be greater than the first, and why the salvation from Egypt is going to be eclipsed by the salvation from this world in this time, because this is operating on a global scale today. Most High is going to do a global deliverance of the Israelites and a global destruction of the earth, of the wicked. Right? It's not going to be just in one region. It ain't going to be just in Egypt. It ain't just going to be in Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities or whatever. It's going to be all over the earth. The Lord's going to be sending judgments down there, simultaneously destroying the nations. That's what He's doing right now. And He's going to gather His elect from the four corners of the earth. So this is a global event, just like the flood was a global event. A global event is taking place. All right, and these are just like the run up, you know, before the main thing, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna end it there. Hoping this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So till next time, I say shalom.